Hello, everyone. I can see we have attendees keep coming in, so we're just gonna give it a 1 minute or two, and then we will start. Okay, I can see attendees are keep coming in. That's great. All right, let's give it another minute, and then we'll start. I still see our attendees keep coming in. All right, everybody, it's 5:02 here in Paris, and we will start our Ask the Expert live session. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining, and welcome back to this live Dr. Jaspersoft session. This is a special and a long-awaiting type of session where we give the floor to you, our audience, to ask any type of question. Hopefully, we'll get to answer all of them during this session. Otherwise, we can always follow up on you later on in our community page. I'm Badr Dreyfi, your Dr. Jaspersoft host here from Paris, and with me today, a team of experts. We have Mike Bilkovich, Manager of Customer Success North America, Mihul Bamania, and Domenico Donforio, Customer Success Architect at Jaspersoft, Rafael Pege, Senior Solution Engineering, and Himanshu Parmar, Director QA and Engineering. Join us from all around the world. Hi, team. How are you doing today?
Hey everyone, good, thanks. Hey, Badr.
Hello all, good, thanks.
Hello everyone.
Hello,
Thank
Badr.
you.
Hi, everyone.
Let's get the session started.
Thank you for your time, and happy to have you as our guest speaker. So, guys, stay tuned for our next session. So we will be next month, as you probably already know. So we'll be deep diving into Jaspersoft dashboards. So what you can do, the best practices, and also the new features in our new version 9. So stay tuned. And before we go to the agenda, just put your question on the Q&A section on the bottom of your Zoom. We will be monitoring it, and we will try to get to all of your questions before the end of the session. Thank you. So the agenda for today. So we're gonna start with you guys, the audience who are all with us here. We're gonna answer your questions, and I'm gonna have to keep at least 15 to 20 minutes before the end of the session so we can answer the questions that we already got from the community prior to today's session. So we will start with you, with you, the audience, and please go ahead if anyone has a question. You have the Q&A on the top, on the bottom, sorry, of your Zoom. Please go ahead and ask your question. Maybe I can start with the questions that are actually we already have from the community while waiting for you guys to post your question. Whenever you have a question in mind, don't hesitate, just put it there in the question section of Zoom. I don't see any questions so far, so not to waste time, just gonna go straight to the questions. Okay, so I have one here. How can we create reusable input control objects in such a way that they can be used in all reports? This will help greatly when an update is needed to the input control. Example, adjustment to the SQL query underneath. As with the current setup, we will need to update the input control in every report. So we can create a reusable input control object in Jasper Server. You can go and add new resources input control, and then you can use them and affect them to your report. Let me quickly show here. Hopefully this is what you are looking for, if I understood the question correctly. So in everywhere in your Jasper server, you can go and create, for example, here, input control. Probably create them in the public, so you can, or that depends on your permission, but it's good to create them in the public to give them availability to everyone. And you can create wherever you can create maybe a folder called input control and add resource input control. And then you will create one input control, define your the type, the SQL query for it, and everything. And then once you have it, then you can attach it to your Jasper Studio reports. This is actually the best practice to do it. This is the recommended way in order of creating input control for every report on and on.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback on that, Batter, too. That
Yeah.
So in Studio, when you publish your report, by default, it will create what I call a local input control, which is specific to that report. But when you get to the screen on the publish screen for input controls, you can actually choose to point to an input control that's already been defined on the repository, such as the one Batter is showing here. If you actually pre-built it on the repository, then when you're on that screen, you can choose that input control so that your report is pointed to that, what I call global input control here. And if you don't do that the right way in that publish, then you just come in here and edit your report as Batter is showing in the screen, and you can choose the one from the repository rather than define it locally to the report. And that way you're reusing it. It's really good for when you have a name around the input control, or as Gary said in the question, if you want to change the SQL query a little bit that's populating the input control value, you only have to do it one place. You don't have to do it for every report that you've deployed it to. So like Batter said, it's a best practice for sure to do it this way.
All right, great. Thank you, Mike. We have another question. Is it possible to connect to your Jasper server to a Docker container environment? If so, does anyone have documentation on how that is accomplished? We are currently using JasperReports Community Edition, if that matters. We heard about the changes on January 25th. We have not yet decided how to proceed. I believe a lot of rest of the questions above. So this is there's a different topic in that same question. So I'll probably relate that to Himanshu for the Docker part and Raphael for the Jaspersoft community changes.
So when you are asking about is it possible to connect your Jasper server to the Docker container environment, it's not very clear to me what exactly you mean by saying that. We do have, of course, support for Docker and Kubernetes, so you can deploy your JasperReports server on any of the Docker environment, right? But now you are talking about you have some other container which is running in Docker, and you want to connect from JasperReports server to that environment. I'm not too very clear about that. So the second one, right, about the community edition, yes, of course, it's been removed. But if you have the older version, if you want to Dockerize it, it's not supported out of the box.
Thank you, Himanshu. I will go to the next question. So I have created the Jaspersoft report. This is one from Wondwozen. I have created the Jaspersoft report in Studio and published to JasperReports Server. Okay. Then try to embed the report in a web application using Visualize.js API. However, I couldn't see the responsiveness of the report. What is the best way to achieve responsiveness using Visualize.js is the only way. Okay, so this is one also, I think maybe this is the same person or not. We had the same question already posted in our community page. So in terms of responsiveness, you can always adapt the responsiveness. You just need to keep in mind that CSS is it's all going to depends on your CSS. Whatever when you call Visualize.js, you call a resource, a chart, or whatever. There is a CSS that already applied to it. So it's up to you, the container, to override that CSS to make it look exactly how you want it to look, to change the responsiveness and everything. Just keep in mind the CSS, it's all a matter of specificity of the CSS, which comes first. You know, depends if it's a class, you need to override it. If it's if you want to select the element directly, you need to do the CSS way to actually affect that that ID, whether it's a div, is a table, or wherever. And if you also need to do important if required, you know, in the CSS, when you put important of one of your CSS properties that make it on priority to be addressed by the browser. So what I did here is I actually created a simple Visualize.js with like 100% like wide dimensions. So what I had to, in order to change it, so I went quickly. So this is my Visual.js sample HTML, and if you look here, this is normally only my pretty simple page HTML that call public sample report state, which give me states California, I'm not sure what that is, Oregon and Washington. And I put in everything in this div container. But if I just put it like this, it's going to take the default options and probably not going to give you ability to change the responsiveness and also change the sizes in the way you like, and also the colors and everything. So you're gonna have to change to override that CSS as I doing here. So I'm going through the container. I'm specifying the what I want, how I want the container. I'm specifying, I'm overriding the Visualize.js own custom classes. I'm overriding high chart classes. So you have full flexibility to do everything like that, and this will give you more freedom to change your CSS and to make it more responsive and things like that. And you can also, which is important, sometimes high charts, you need to reflow, you recreate your high charts in order to keep the responsiveness, because sometimes high chart doesn't do that. So it's also a good idea to always have this reflow instruction in your JavaScript code. And in that way, you will see here that the chart changes when I change my browser, and it keeps changing because of the CSS I did. This is the way to make your charts responsiveness, and it's all related to your CSS all the time. And one of the best ways is to go to your developer tools of your preferred browser, and just go here and try to get to understand how this is constructed, and you will get the CSS for it, and you will see, okay, so I know this is doing this class is actually, it's inside this div, inside this table, and then get the IDs and then change it from with your CSS and so on. This is exactly what I did, the way I've done it, in order to make my charts fit to whatever I would like it to, whatever I would like it to be. Okay, so I took so much time on that. Sorry about that. So let's go back. Let's see. I see a lot of other questions. I'm learning how to use Jasper Java Library SDK, and I'm wondering if you could give me a demo of you processing a CSV to get in the GRXML file. Processing, so we do have exporter, out of the box exporter in Jasper Server, where you can use Excel as well as CSV. I believe that would have to be a custom exporter. I'm gonna rely on Domenico on that, because I think he worked on that recently.
Yes, but probably the question is more related to using a CSV as data source for the studio report. So probably yeah. So the short answer is yes, we can use a CSV. We have several types of data source in the studio that includes also the CSV files. It's one of the simplest data source we can define.
We also have samples as well in our samples about the CSV data source. So if you look at a sample on the community, you'll see the CSV data source example.
Thank you, Domenico Miho. We have another one from Ben. How do you integrate the new standalone community edition product into a previous Java EE Eclipse project that has a report that need to be edited, built, and run? Previously, we just we just typically had the plugin JasperReports product as Eclipse plugins. Just need to know the current best practice for this. Do we have to do all the reports editing and building in the new Studio Community Edition, and then somehow export all Jasper functionality back over to the existing Java EE app server, Java EE app Jasper reporting embedded? I'm not sure I got this question. Anyone here with us understood the question?
I'm thinking he's using Ben's using. We can let Ben talk too if we want. He's using the plugin, the old plugin into his Eclipse, so you can put Jasper as a plugin to Eclipse in the old ways, right? So,
Yes.
so you're just trying to ask how to continue using that since CE is not there anymore. So I don't think we have a plugin anymore. Is that right, Ralph?
I don't know what happened with the plugin when we changed the license on Jaspersoft Studio Community. So yeah, I was kind of hoping it would still work the same way, but the question seems to say otherwise. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we moved it all together, or there's a way.
If this is also related to the source code, because in the Jaspersoft Studio CE we don't have the source code anymore. So if that may be related to the source code that will prevent you to achieve this desired requirement, yeah, that I would understand. But I'm not
I think
sure.
maybe the best way now is to use Jaspersoft Studio Community. Maybe that's what you wanted to say, Mike.
Directly. Yeah, and we'd have to check with our studio team to see what the status is of the plugin, because honestly, I don't know that any of us on the call here actually know for sure what happened with the studio plugin.
All right, Ben, I would highly advise you to post the same question into the community, and we will get back to you on that. Another question from Arjuna. Could you please explain how to create pagination using the Jaspersoft Studio, meaning want to create multiple pages? So Jaspersoft Studio pagination, if you're talking about so there is a property paginated where you can enable it and it will get you the pagination on all of your reports.
I have Studio up better. I can show it real quick if you want.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things with that as well. So can you see my studio screen?
Yes.
So by default, when you're looking at a report in Jasper, if you click on the top level element, you will see an option right here for ignore pagination. So by default, Jaspersoft will paginate your data, your report, and you can check this to say, no, I don't want that. I want to go all the way there. Now, the other option, if you want a specific page break, you can actually insert that as an option here. There's where is it? There it is. So you can actually insert a break, and when you insert the break element, it will give you the option to choose what kind of break it is over here on your option. So you see it's a little line on the report, but I can actually choose this and actually make it, and by default it's a page break. So you can manually tell Jasper to do a page break there as well. And then in addition, you also have the ability on certain bands to tell it to start on a new band. So if you have a group bands and like the the columns and the headers, you can actually tell. I don't have one set up here to show it because I don't have it on this particular report, but you can tell it to start on a new page, or you can tell it to try to keep the information together. So there's a lot of different ways to sort of control where the page breaks happen within Studio. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, I can look for a wiki article as well on this. I think we have that documented somewhere as well.
That's right.
Thank you, Mike. Going back to our questions, so we do have One from Sushma. I would like to documentation to be followed to upgrade from Jaspersoft Studio 7.1 to version 8.1 and also to version 9. How can I retain the existing Jaspersoft Studio 7.1 version that I have already on my Windows laptop? Since it is connected to production, I do not want it to be corrupted. Can I maintain two different versions on the same laptop? I would like to connect to pre-production instance to the newer version, whether it is 8.1 or 9, so that I can validate it before updating production to the new version. Thanks. Your help is greatly appreciated. So yeah, so I would go here and say yes, you can. You can use your studio previous studio versions with newer Jasper server version. It's not the recommended way, but it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to be a blocker for you. So you can use your Jaspersoft Studio 8.1 or 7.1 to your Jasper server version 9. That's not a problem. In some rare cases, you might have in your reports, you might have some properties or some elements that has been deprecated or something in the newer Jasper report library. And then you will have to either use a new Jaspersoft Studio that contains the same version of the library, or inside Jaspersoft Studio, you can change the compilation mode to the version of the library that supports your element. But that's in really rare cases. Anyone else wants to add to that?
I think just to add to that, if you have different workspace, you can have multiple versions installed of Studio. So you can have 7.1 and 8.1 installed in two different workspaces, and that shouldn't then impact any of your existing setup.
Thank you, Mihul. Going back, another question from Ben. I could not find any documentation for this workflow. Is there anything out there on how to integrate the new standalone CE product into existing previous Java EE Eclipse app ID environment? Thank you. Okay, so Ben, this is going along with your first question. So I recommend you to post that question in our forums, and we'll be looking into that. Thank you. Okay, we have one thing from Anonymous. So a Jasper report with CTE query failed to run the JasperReports server. It runs with the Jaspersoft Studio. What should we do? We already tried the following: save the changes and restart the server. Okay, so this one looks so this one particular question will require more detailed investigation and debugging process, and so we can offer this during this live session. So to ensure you can provide you with the right assistant for this matter, please you can raise support case on the support.tipco.com, or you can post the question on the community Q&A forum. Thank you. Let's see what we got. And
maybe one thing to test here is to remove the validation, just to make sure that's the validation which is causing the issue in the server. But then
yeah, but we don't recommend doing disabling the validation
production
all over, because validation is there to protect you from SQL injection and other security issues. So that might be a case you can turn it off just for debugging and testing, but do not go to production without the validation turned off.
Yeah, just as a test, you turn it off, and then if it works, then you know that you need to fix this. You turn it back on, and then you work on it. Yeah,
exactly. Thank you, Rafael. So another question from Dinesh Kumar. Hi, I'm designing a PDF page in Jaspersoft Studio. I've created a list with new data set, but not able to retrieve value from the main dataset unless the folder is set. But I would like to dynamically use adapter to flash. Okay. Sorry, the Q&A keeps getting up and down, so I lose the view. But I would like to dynamically use the adapter to fetch values. In this case, this is not populated with values. So I would, so that's the same thing. I would have to, this will require more detailed investigation again and debugging process. So I highly recommend you to post your session, to open a case for this to support.tipco.com, or ask the question in our forum Q&A Jaspersoft community Q&A. Let's go. Another one from Anonymous. I created some reports on the studio, which are exported to docs, and I will be further modified by the client if needed. The problem they have is when they want to insert new rows in between or at the end. I already checked the docs properties and changed from true when necessary, but it's still challenging to edit the report. Yeah, so it isn't a Word document might be challenging because, well, it's not a Word document, it's an exported document. So don't expect that you're going to have all the freedom like you are working on a Microsoft Word. But there are some properties that can help you to change that you will add in your reports, GRXML reports, and you will make it more easier to change the document after the export. You can post your question here. I don't recall those properties, but I'm sure just post your question in the community and we can answer those. But again, it's not going to give you full flexibility. Okay, we only have 3 minutes left. Are there any Visualize.js document? Well, sorry, maybe I forget one. In Spring Boot, I'm setting Java object as grbin collection data source. Java object has list of other objects GXML. I'm not reading values from sub objects or list object from Java object. Is there any way that GXML can read complete object with inner list? That's again, Dinesh, that's something that it will be better served in our support website or in our community Q&A. Are there any Visualize.js docs recommendation when integrating in JS frameworks currently using Angular to render Jasper's report charts through Visualize.js? And it seems that the V call only allows for rendering, not the other functionality provided on the TIBCO documentation. Refresh, canceling. I'm not sure I understood this question, but we have documentation of Visualize.js where you can use all the available functionalities, and we do have some samples with Angular.js. So I'm very surprised of this issue. I don't understand exactly what the issue is. So again, please post that to support team or community Q&A, and then we can have a detailed discussion with you seeing the logs and seeing some screenshots and things like that. How many fields can be used as rows in crosstab reports? Any document we can refer. This is from Rick. So we do have, so in Jasper Server, we do have property where you can define the maximum number for crosstabs. Once your crosstab runs and it reaches that threshold, it will throw an error. It will stop executing it. So that exists on the documentation, Jasper Server user guide. You can check it out for any version, and you will see that there is this property that actually control this one. Go to Jaspersoft user guide, Jasper Server user guide. You will be able to see the documentation.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, just to tack on better, that performance is a big deal when you're talking about crosstabs in our system, because the aggregation, gets to be exponential. So you always want to be careful if you start adding too many fields, and you really want to test to make sure you're not getting it out of control and your system can handle it.
All right, so we have okay, so I can see, Rafael, you already type in the answer for Sushma. So I'm at the question from Sushma, so I'm gonna go to the next question. Thank you, Rafael.
Yes, I'm posting the link there.
Thank you, by the way. So I have another question from Astrid. Could you please explain the notion of Repository Explorer and Project Explorer in Jaspersoft Studio and how they are related? So the Repository Explorer in Jaspersoft Studio, well, you know what? I'm going to put this to Mike so he can share his screen with Jaspersoft Studio. Will be better.
You want me to share? Okay, yeah, I can share. Yeah, I mean, I like to think of it. I think it's pretty straightforward in that your Repository Explorer. I always like to describe it this way: your Repository Explorer is all of your stuff that's not on your server. You've got your data adapters where you're pulling your data from to run your reports. You've got your servers defined that you see here on here, which are your JasperReports servers where you might be publishing your reports or maybe getting information from. Your Project Explorer is an Eclipse term really, but it's everything that's local on your machine. So everything that you see in your Project Explorer is actually on your system somewhere. And so you've got your JXMLs, you're going to build your JXMLs locally before you publish them via the repository explorer to a server, let's say. Even when you open, if you expand and, oh, I don't have the connection there, but if you expand your repository like a server connection, you open a report, you're not opening it on the server. It actually makes a copy locally. And you can see I've got copies here from the repository explorer to my project explorer. So you can use the project explorer to set up different projects, just if you want to organize your different reports in different ways, whatever structure makes sense to you. A lot of people don't go that far and just put all their JXMLs into one project, but that's the key difference. Project Explorer is stuff you're seeing locally on your system. Repository Explorer are the things that you're actually going out to either retrieve data to run reports or, again, store your reports on a server.
Yeah, repository is more on the server, actually. You're just exploring the server, just to add to that. And when you're double clicking on the server, on one of the items, it actually goes into your Project Explorer. So it downloads a copy
Yep.
and it goes into your local disk, and then you can work on it. So I always recommend customers to not download from the server because there's a overwriting
Much
thing.
better. Correct. Mehul's right. It's much better if you can build fresh from your server and then publish copies there, but we can get more into that some other time.
All right, thank you, Mike, Mehul. Let's go back to our next question. So I still have like 2 left. I did that already, but not much of a help from Anonymous, so I'm not sure exactly what that is referring to.
I think this is probably the same question on the SQL validator, and we referred to the community. And I think maybe there's already probably a community question there.
All right, so I'm going back.
We'll check it up. So I'm check it up and
Thank you,
see what I can do with that.
So the other question from Anonymous, thank you for the reply. Michel Brad from Jaspersoft said that there is no longer any ability to use any plugins at all. It appears that we must do any report editing changes to the actual Jasper report inside the new Studio CE product, and then somehow export this back into my existing Eclipse ID Java app containing the production report. In other words, we can no longer get Jasper reporting Studio ID functionality inside the Java Eclipse plugin apps with plugins as previously mini devs did. Thanks for letting me ask this. So can you help to open a support ticket for this? Can you give me a support team email contact or where to go in the support forums, etc.? The new product is very nice, so I have to learn how to do this. Okay, so if you are already a commercial user, you already have your access to the support support.tipco.com. You can work with your account executive or just let me know or post a question with the hashtag Dr. Jaspersoft with all of these questions if you're not covered by the support. And yeah, and we'll look into that and we'll try to answer all of your questions. Also, you can put besides putting the question on the community, please reach out to jaspersoft.com in the contact page and also raise your concern there. We will be for sure reaching back to you. So then JasperReports Server upgrades very often. Do we need to upgrade the properties file for font, CSV export format? I'm not sure about properties file for font, CSV export format. Normally, all our the JXML reports are backward compatible. So any report that works on version 7, it will keep working on version 8 and version 9, except if you customized your JXML report with some custom code, with some custom Java library, and then those are not they are not guaranteed to work. So you're gonna have to upgrade them to be compatible with the new version. All right, thank you. So we're already 5 minutes more than the time that I were allowed to I allocate to the questions from the audience. So we're gonna have another 10 to 15 minutes maximum going through our questions that our community already asked us prior to this session. So let's start with Raphael. Begin to answer the first question. Oh, let's do this. So our first question will be, to what location the Jaspersoft Studio SourceForge repository was moved? Raphael, could you please?
Yes, and I mentioned briefly in the questions in the chat earlier, because we don't provide Jaspersoft Studio on the SourceForge repository any longer, as we also removed JasperReports Server community from SourceForge. So now you need to look at jaspersoft.com or community.jaspersoft.com for the Jaspersoft Studio there, where you can download the latest version. And if you're using an older version of JasperReports library, then it's fine. You can use the compatibility mode. But now you need to download from community.jaspersoft.com, and I can post the link again in the Q&A or in the chat here.
Thank you, Raphael. Let's go to our next question from the community: how to embed a static PDF into Jasper report from Jasper repository or specific location. For example, first 2 pages generated by Jasper report and the last page is a static PDF documents. Mike?
Yeah, so we've had this request very sparse, I think once or twice in the past. It's not something that's built into Studio right now or the library. We did build a customization for a client probably about 8 or 9 years ago that basically added a PDF element so you could drag that in and put a PDF doc into your report. But because it was a one-off for just one client at that time, it was not put into the product. If that's something you're interested in, then definitely put it in as an idea on our Jaspersoft Ideas portal. Can someone put the link in for that on the chat, because I don't have it handy?
Yes, I will.
It is something that I've talked with our lead engineers of Studio, and they were looking for recently as well. So I think there's been another request for it. So I think if the more people that ask for it, it's something that maybe we can try to get into the product. But because it was only done about 8 or 9 years ago, it has not been kept up to date for the later versions. So please just put in an ideas request there, and we can try to get that into the product if enough people want it.
All right, yeah, I just posted there on the chat for all of you guys. You can check it out from the chat section. Next question, again with Raphael. Jaspersoft Web-based self-service BI enhancement. I mean, do you have anything to share with the audience about Jaspersoft Web-based BI?
Yes, actually, we've made big improvements in Jaspersoft 9 on the self-service and ad hoc reporting. I don't know if we have time, but I can share my screen. But the main thing is the possibilities to drill down. And so now Jaspersoft supports drill down. Do we have time to show?
Yeah, I can give you 2 to 3 minutes max if you want to share. Please go ahead.
I'll be quick. So probably need to move this away. What is happening? So, okay, great. Let's put this in English. And I'll create another view on the supermarts domain. I'll take just all the sales data. And if I just display in a pie chart the sales by countries, states, that's probably going to be the best one. The star regions. So if I bring the regions and then the countries and then the states and the city, so they all come as in a row, states. And in the past, we could move this slider, and we can still do now, to look at the data at each level. But now in Jaspersoft 9, you can enable drill down. And so by default, you will see sales by region, Southwest, Canada, etc. And then drill into the countries and then the states and then the city. So that's why I was moving states here, because they need to be in the right order. But now if I select Northwest, then I see, well, probably countries should come first and then regions. So if I look into the USA, then I can see the regions in USA. And then from Northwest, I can go into the different states in Northwest and then drill into Washington. And if I want to go back to USA and pick a different one. So we have that now enabled in the ad hoc capabilities. I can save this as a view, as a report. The drilling will remain enabled. And even if I use that in the dashboard, I can still have this in drill down in the dashboard. So that's very handy. You can turn it on and off as you prefer. And so that's the main thing we have for ad hoc capabilities. In the properties as well of the server, you can see you can control a little bit more on what's displayed in the ad hoc designer. That's also an enhancement in V9, but I'll let you go into the jaspersoft.com/what's new, and we have documentations on that as well.
Thank you, Rafael. Okay, let me share back my screen so you can go to the next question. All right, so Visualize.js for responsive for JasperReports. So this is already answered live from the question that we got from the audience. So I'm gonna go to how to perform JasperReports Server upgrade on EKS from Himanshu. Please, Himanshu, go ahead.
Sure. So the question is how to perform JasperReports Server's upgrade on AWS EKS. Now, this would depend upon, I will show you a couple of options basically, and which option to select from will depend upon the size of your repository database. So if your repository database is small enough, then you can go with the export import option. Now, how do you determine how big is your repository? So you can try to export from your current environment your repository data through JasperReports Server UI or through the Buildomatic command. If your export takes 20 minutes or less, you have a small repository. In that case, you just have the exported repository as this format, and you can move forward to build your Docker images. Of course, you will have to get your 9.0 repository from JasperReports Server JS Docker repository on the GitHub, and you just need to clone it on your machine and then rebuild your 9.0 JasperReports Server images. That will point to a new database. And now once that environment is up and running, you just need to log into your JasperReports Server UI or through Buildomatic. You just need to do the import of your exported data. And that's all. Your JRS application has been upgraded to 9.0. Now, other option would be when you have a larger repository database. In that case, you don't want to go through the export import option because it may be error prone. We recommend that you perform the repository migration using the Buildomatic commands, right? And in this case, how will you do that? Since your environment is on AWS EKS, I would assume that you may be using an RDS instance for your repository database. Now, you may want to create a Bastion host or any EC2 instance which would have access to your RDS instance, right? From where you can run your commands on your database. So first step, you log into your Bastion host, for example, you have the, you should have the 820 or 90, the Warbean installer available on that machine. And you just need to navigate to your Buildomatic folder and run some commands. Now, let's assume you want to upgrade from 8.10 to 9.0. So you will go to 8.820 Buildomatic folder and run the upgrade samedb script from that. That will upgrade your database to 8.20 compatible. And then similar steps you need to repeat for 9.0 as well. Once you have 9.0 database ready, now it's time to rebuild your Docker images. Again, the same thing, you just need to get or clone the repository from JS Docker and rebuild your Docker images pointing to your upgraded RDS. And that's how you upgrade your GRS application. Now, let's assume that you may have some customizations on top of your JasperReports Server application as well, right? And the recommended way in that case would be to upgrade the database, as I mentioned before, and you need to, rebuild Docker images and then just point it to the upgrade database, have the environment up and running, and then on top of that, you just apply your customization. Back to you, Badr.
Great. Thank you, Himanshu. So we're already 45 minutes in, so that will be the end of our questions so far. But just before finishing this session, guys, I want to launch a poll for all of you to choose or vote for your next Dr. Jaspersoft sessions. So I'm going to start the poll right now, and please don't shy away from voting of your topics so we can prepare tailored sessions to your own needs and requirements. So I'm going to launch the poll right now, and here you go. Normally you should now see the poll on your screens, so if you can go ahead and vote. So I'm gonna wait for 1 or 2 minutes while getting your votes.
Someone raised their hand, Badr. I'm not sure if you want to maybe address that while we're getting the votes in.
Let me see that.
Arjuna, if you want to type in your question, that might work best, but
yes. Arjuna, I can see here. I think we already have a question. Let's see. Maybe she put the question.
just raised their hand now. So
yeah. You can go ahead. You can reach out. You can put your question, Arjuna, in the Q&A or in the chat if you have if you have a comment, not a question. Right. So I can see the votes are coming in.
Gee, I think it's good. Our next session is the one it is.
Well, yeah, looks like it, but it's still missing.
Might address part of that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're 1 minute 20 seconds. So I'm gonna keep it to 2 minutes so I can gather all the votes.
Yeah, looks like we're only missing 5 folks on here, so hopefully. And Arjuna did ask the question. Oh, can you show the first slide, Badr, with the email address?
Please provide contact if we need support from Jaspersoft team for our project. Yes, so let me send you to the chat. So you can go here to your, well, you can go to our Jaspersoft page and contact us directly if you're not a client or if you're not a client already. Otherwise, if you are on commercial edition, you already have access to support.apps.tipco.com. No, sorry, that's support.tipco.com. That one is available to you. Well, let me put it in the chat. So this is the support. And you in our community page, so you can go to forums and ask your questions here. Go to forum, and you can start a new topic with all of your questions. Please tag Dr. Jaspersoft on your questions if it's related to this session. I'm gonna put it here. Q&A is here. We already have all those links and other links that we talked about during this session in our slides, which they're gonna be available already in our community page with all the links that we discussed for today. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll, and let's see. I'm gonna share the results. So as you can see, so we have most of the votes for JasperReports Server ad hoc and dashboards. Great. So we are actually planning that for next session. Session will be presented by Mike. Mike, do you have any word about this?
Don't put me on the spot.
You're going to present dashboard, maybe some like sneak preview of what you're gonna do.
We'll talk about dashboards. We'll dig in a little and just do some best practices and show you some of the new features and maybe we'll sneak in some of those ad hoc things like the drill downs that Raphael showed and some of those things, because generally you do a lot of ad hoc reporting when you're putting dashboards together. So but yeah, that's come join us next month. It should be fun.
Thank you. And I can see here also that I do have an Ask the Expert second session. So we're gonna keep that in mind. Maybe we're gonna have another session like this. And this is on the third position, and second position we have Visualize.js. So we already have like 2 Visualize.js Dr. Jaspersoft sessions, and you can go to our Dr. Jaspersoft page here. And you will see all our previous sessions with the recordings and the slides. And as you can see here, and we do have 2 Visualize.js Dr. Jaspersoft session. Please check them out. Yeah, and if you still need some specific part of Visualize.js that you want us to address, please let us know. You already have this choose your next topic article, or I would say a question that you can always go here and update your votes and and just let us know what you are wishing for our next Dr. Jaspersoft.
You saw performance troubleshooting better was also tied with Visualize, right? So you see that in there.
Okay, so I put it in the chat here, the link for you. Okay, so we have Visualize.js, good. So I can note that as well.
And performance troubleshooting.
Yes. Great. Okay. Well, thank you all for this rich and detailed presentation. Our experts and our audience too, both who joined us here with their questions and who posted the questions online. Thank you very much. Soon all of today's slides and the recording will be available in our Dr. Jaspersoft community page and also on YouTube. So if you have any questions and the questions that we couldn't answer, please redirect them to the support if you are covered by our support team. Otherwise, put them on our Jaspersoft community Q&A with the link already in the slides and also in the chat of this session. I see that we still have some questions coming in, but we're going to have to finish this session right now. So please, we can continue this in our Jaspersoft community and tag Dr. Jaspersoft, as you can see here, for your questions. Thank you so much, and thank you, thank you, team.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.